What is the most powerful wellness habit? It's a good question. And that's what we're going to discuss this week. So, welcome to Strong for Life Live. It is the 13th of June, I guess. Oh my gosh. Time is flying this year. So, let's start off with some announcements. It's always a good way to start off one of these. Lean for Life 2023 Weight Loss Challenge has just opened. There's just over a week left before applications close, and we're getting a lot of cool applicants. So applications are open for our 8-week winter weight loss challenge. Well, it's winter here in the southern hemisphere. It could be a summer weight loss challenge, if that's how you choose to run your seasons, I guess. So if you are interested in losing some body fat, gaining some muscle, putting a structure together that you can carry into the rest of your life, getting your nutrition planned for you, having recipes, personalized coaching, your own training program, and a community dedicated to accomplishing the same things that you want to accomplish. A private community for this challenge. If that sounds great and you don't want to have to figure out what you're supposed to do in the gym each day or what you're supposed to eat each day and how much of it you're supposed to eat, and you want all that done for you, then join the challenge. The applications are open. You can find the link in my bio on Instagram, Coach Josh Wood, or you can find it in the Facebook group, Become Strong for Life, or you can shoot me a message and I'll send you the link. So we're taking applications, choosing the best of the best who want to get the most out of this, and give them a great chance of success. So if it's interesting to you and you're looking to lose some body fat, get in touch. Even just ask questions, and I can give you an overview of the program. Anyway, that's the only announcement I have this week. Can't really think of anything else big happening. Been working hard on this challenge. All the coaches are working hard behind the scenes. So, let's get into the meat of it. Wellness tips. So, we have wellness tips, and I want to talk about BCAAs, branch chain amino acids, a very common supplement, and a lot of people are asking, what do they do? What are they for? Do you need to take them? So we'll get into that. But what I wanted to do this week is go through some of the great wellness tips that some of our group members have shared this week. So this week, our topic or discussion from the beginning of the week was to share a wellness tip or habit that has leveled up your game and made a positive impact in your life. And there's some good ones here and some stuff I'm like, why didn't I think of that? I guess I can't think of everything as much as I try to. So let's go through some of the best. Coach Gab, she had a really good one. First thing is have a drink bottle. And I have a couple different types. I got some 750 mils. I got one that's 1.2 liters. 1 liter bottle works great. She says fill it up in the morning. If there's still water in it by lunchtime, then finish it off before you eat. Do the same in the evening before dinner. Having a super basic time frame, an easy measurable amount to drink is mindless, and suddenly you're not chronically dehydrated anymore. She says it's a maze. And that's a really good point. And when it comes to things like learning how to not overeat, I did a little post about this prior to the last set of holidays. And one of the tips that I gave was make sure you're hydrated. Drink a glass of water before you start piling up your plate with holiday treats. The second thing was fill up on the protein first. Get your protein requirement and then fill up on the other stuff. And you'll probably find there isn't much more room to fill up. Which brings me to the second wellness habit. This one came from Coach Ella, not a coach with Strong for Life, but a coach of her own accord, training folks out of Raw Strength here in Tasmania. And her habit was just eat more protein. And that's something I harp on about all the time. And every once in a while, people are like, Coach Josh sure goes on about his protein a lot. It's like, well, because you're not eating enough. If you were, you wouldn't complain to me about me telling you to eat more protein. People who eat enough protein generally feel good and know when they're not eating enough protein, so they want to eat more protein. So Ella's tip is eat protein. And I would say that is the first thing I work with everybody on when it comes to nutrition. Eat enough protein. Nobody's lacking for carbohydrates, except if we're talking about athletes, it could be different. But the average person isn't lacking carbohydrates. The average person isn't lacking in fats. They are always lacking in protein. Everybody is. Every average person. If you're already a gym junkie, I'm not talking to you. But if you were sitting there going, how can I make my diet better and feel better in life? Start by adding more protein to your diet. That's it. That's the big thing. And honestly, that's probably one of the most powerful ones. We did have a great share as well. Raquel says to quit alcohol. Quitting alcohol was a big game changer for her. And that's just a big game changer for a lot of people. If you're trying to lose weight and you're a regular drinker, first thing would be if you give up alcohol, great. A lot of people have a hard time with that. But if you can switch to low calorie options, that's also good. Usually it's just so many sneaky calories. People are drinking things that taste good, they feel good when they drink them, and then not only are they getting a bunch more calories than they would normally have, which then tends to lead to weight gain, not loss. Weight loss comes if you drink too much and you purge your stomach. But there's so many sneaky calories in alcoholic beverages. And then you tend to make terrible decisions when you've been drinking too much. And I don't just mean personal decisions, I mean food decisions. If you're an adult listening to this, there's probably been a point in your life where you have drank too much and ended up at 1, 2, 3 in the morning at some greasy ass pizza place, and it's the most delicious thing you've ever eaten in your life. But you wouldn't go there if you were sober. So obviously, besides the sneaky calories that people would consume daily if they're daily drinkers, there's also the decision making that goes out the window when you tend to be drinking too much. So that's a great one. If you can give up alcohol in your life and it's a problem for you, that's going to be a game changer. I think we had a really good one from Gemma, who is also a PT locally. She has her own business, Regular Jane Fitness, and she is a client of mine, and we've been working on all sorts of awesome things over the last couple of years. So she's got a lot of good insight, and a really good tip from her was, she says, I play it forward. I think about how I'll feel if I do or don't do something. Future projection is powerful. Most people don't do that. I don't think animals can, and I think it's a default to not think about the repercussions of your actions. And to actually go, how will I feel after I eat this donut? Is a powerful question. How many people do that? They don't. They go, oh, donut, gotta eat that. And then they eat it and they go, oh, my guts hurt. It's like, well, you're an adult, right? Look at that. Look at what happens in the future. You have enough data in your brain and your life experience to make those types of future projections. Inversely, how will you feel if you go walk the dog? How will you feel if you go for a bushwalk? How will you feel after the gym? How will you feel after your run? Not how am I going to feel now? Not how am I going to feel during? How am I going to feel after? It's pretty easy with food. If I'm like, got a big steak for dinner. God, we had this. Here's a meal I had a couple nights ago. I don't eat steak a lot because, well, it's expensive. So it's a nice treat. And we had some nice porterhouse. I cooked it up real good. And then I had some beans, like green beans, long beans, with a little pinch of onion powder and salt. And then some potato. Actually, it was tater tots. Frozen potato. Because it's very convenient. And I put this meal together thinking, God, this is going to be good. Oh, it's going to be so tasty. And there's just something about what you feel like after a meal like that. I feel amazing. I feel full, but I'm not bloated. I feel good. I feel nourished. And I was looking at that meal going, Can't wait to eat that. Like that. I'm going to feel good tonight. Be all warm and toasty inside. And we can do that. How are you going to feel when you eat that whole pizza by yourself? How are you going to feel when you eat that block of chocolate just before going to bed? How are you going to feel after the gym? When you're done at the gym, when you're done with your run. Future projection is powerful. That's a great tip from Gemma. Our nutritionist, Abby, her big tip was surround yourself with positive people who cheer for you and make your days brighter. Community. And I was just talking about that in relation to the weight loss challenge. Big thing we're doing with this challenge is creating a community specific to the challenge because that is so important to success. It's one of those things where you see it. People maybe come from a more difficult or disadvantageous background, and it makes it hard to leave that situation. And then when they go make something of themselves, become successful in some domain, and you go back and visit your friends and family from high school or whatever, and they're like, oh, you've changed. Like it's a negative thing. You need people in your life that when you go out and better yourself, they say, wow, you've changed. And it's a positive thing. And having that community, what we're trying to build here in the Become Strong for Life community, is incredibly powerful to your long-term success and health. So if you can choose who you surround yourself with, if you're an adult, you can do that. Children don't have that choice. They get what they're given until they can move out. But as an adult, you can choose who you are around in most situations. And again, there's always payoffs, and some things are going to be better, some choices are going to be worse. Nothing's free. There's always just different hidden costs. So if you can, surround yourself with those people who make your day better. And that's a great tip from Abby. And of course, she's speaking from experience because she's got an excellent gym crew out there in Adelaide. And Kayla, good tip. I mean, maybe this one isn't my favorite. She says, get a dog. I do not want a dog. I love dogs. I do not need the extra responsibility. She says, get a dog, and then follows up with a joke my grandpa always says. My grandpa's a dog guy. He's always had dogs. And they both say, Kayla and my grandpa, if you wish to see unconditional love, lock your wife and your dog in the trunk for 2 hours and see who's happy to see you when you let them out. I think there's a few things unpacked there. A few things that might go deeper than just unconditional love. But, dogs are a good excuse for exercise too. They are wonderful companions if they're well raised. And actually, my client who has the greatest continuing step count between like 12 and 17,000 steps a day, Pam, so we'll give her a shout out. She has a Kelpie, which is an Australian farm dog, a very high energy dog. Beautiful dogs. If I ever got a dog, I'd love a Kelpie or a Kelpie mix. They're just wonderful dogs, but they're very high energy, and she just walks them all the time. And that's how she gets that step count out, or step count up. So dogs are a good thing, but they do require responsibility. So I cannot condone that you go out and get a dog just because it was our tip for the week. Anyhow, there's some really good tips in there. Surround yourself with positive people. Play it forward in your mind. Future project. Is this something that is going to benefit me? How will I feel after doing something? Managing alcohol consumption is a big one. Eating more protein is essential. And use a drink bottle or similar system to make sure you're drinking enough during the day. Fill the bottle up. If it's not empty by lunch, finish it, then eat. Same with dinner. So you're not stuffing yourself with food when your body really just needs water. Something I've been playing around with that as well is adding a pinch of salt. Adding a pinch of salt to your water. I'm finding that leaves me feeling a little bit more hydrated. And now, let's get on to topic 2. Branch chain amino acids. BCAAs, or branch chain amino acids, are 3 amino acids which are the building blocks that make up a protein. BCAAs, branched chain, because they actually have a branched design. So they kind of look like a Y when we look at their molecular structure. That is, see if I can remember it. Leucine, isoleucine, and valine, I believe, are the three BCAAs, and they're essential for muscle growth. And we need, it seems that leucine triggers muscle protein synthesis, which means it triggers your body's creation of muscle tissue. So we need those things. Do we need a supplement with BCAAs? No. So all those are found within whole proteins in differing amounts. And this is where we get into like grains and legumes as protein sources. They tend to lack some of those. I can't remember which way it goes. I want to say grains have more leucine, legumes and pulses have less, but I could be completely backwards on that. I haven't looked into that in a while. But you need leucine to trigger muscle protein synthesis, but getting 20 plus grams of whole protein does that. There's nothing in BCAAs that you don't get from real protein, whole proteins. A whey protein supplement is going to cost you less per amount of protein you get. That said, all the studies showing the benefit of BCAAs when equated with protein consumption, it's a moot point. But if you are vegan or vegetarian and you're lacking, say, some leucine in your diet, adding that to your plant-based protein shake or to some of your plant-based meals, a bit of BCAAs can be beneficial, especially if you don't have or don't like protein supplements. So I've recently been taking BCAAs. I get mine through Moss and Blood, which is a cool company that I do some work with, where they're sort of focused on hunters, outdoors people, and conservation. So it's an interesting brand. But I've been trying out their watermelon flavored BCAAs for a while. I've been doing that and really, really enjoying it. And I started doing that first thing in the morning because milky proteins have just been making me feel not good. So I've been taking whey most of my life, and I've never really enjoyed protein shakes, and so I kind of avoid them. And then sometimes I get into this like, oh, I'll just have real food and then forget to eat that. But the convenience of protein makes it easy to take a shake. But then my guts hurt. Like I feel bloated if I take it at the wrong time or too close to exercise. I was like, let's try some BCAAs and see if I can supplement with that in addition to my otherwise pretty high protein diet. It seemed okay. My recovery seemed good. It didn't seem to be any worse than if I was taking protein. But I started a new habit with that too, in which first thing in the morning, I got about 500 mils of water, put a big pinch of salt in that. I put a scoop of branched chain amino acids and about, I think it's 5 grams of creatine, 1 scoop for what I'm taking. First thing, smash that back, then make my coffee. So hydration, some electrolytes, some protein, and get my creatine in. It doesn't matter when you take creatine, you just need to take it. And so that habit started. And then I'm running out of BCAAs. I'm like, oh, there's got to be an alternative where I can get at least more protein and still not feel like garbage chugging back a big milky shake first thing in the morning. And so then I found these waterways or water proteins or clear whey. There's a bunch of different branding that some of my clients have been talking about. I'm currently using the bulk nutrients. It's called Future Whey. There's no whey involved, but it's a whole protein, good mix of amino acids, and it's lemonade. And I mix that with water, so it's like I'm drinking like a super tangy, old-fashioned lemonade in the morning, or you mix it with a little soda water, and it's like a fizzy lemon squash. It's great. And they have a cola flavor. I'm really stoked to try that next. So that's revamped things. And so I can drink a full serve of that first thing in the morning and have no issues with feeling full and bloated and things like that. So I've switched to that. If I had more BCAAs, I'd take those, but really, if you can take protein, it's better. It's like, should I take a full protein or a partial protein? Well, there's no reason to take the partial protein if you have the full, as long as you can stomach it. So it is essentially, branched chain amino acids are essentially a not best case scenario supplement. You take them if you have them and you enjoy taking them, and it's a good way to get some amino acids in. Like, you could sip it across the day, but with the advent of clear protein supplements, you could just do that, and you're getting more bang for your buck. So no need to take those. I will say, in some situations, branched chain amino acids, you could take them intra-workout or just before workout, and it does provide an energy source for working out. So that's why I sometimes see them in pre-workouts. But if you can stomach the protein beforehand, do that anyway. You want about 20 minutes for that to hit your bloodstream. So generally speaking, there's not much purpose to it, except for it's not a bad thing to do, not a bad thing to take, and you enjoy it, go for it. But that's about it. So a lot of interesting topics today, actually. I hope that helps with your question about BCAAs, Gemma. And everyone, thank you for sharing your wellness tips. Some really good stuff there. Always fun to see what everyone else's wisdom is on different topics. It's great. Good ideas. Yeah, that's it. We're done. We're done talking. Just want to say thanks to everyone who's applied for the Lean for Life weight loss challenge. I've already taken on our first participants, so congrats on doing that. If you have any friends, family, strangers that you want to talk to who need a kick in the butt and need some solid structure at a fairly reasonable price point for those who haven't done this before, a big thing with this is trying to create as much value as possible in a condensed amount of time, designed for people who really need that structure to get things done in a focused period. You can focus for 8 weeks, and if you're trying to lose some weight, hit me up about this challenge. There's prizes. Everyone loves prizes. And as always, feel free to share this post or this podcast. It's live in the group, and then you get the video, but the podcast you can share anywhere. And if you know anybody who would benefit from being involved in this community, invite them in. The more the merrier. All right, folks. Until next week, Coach Josh here in Hobart, Tasmania, and make sure you eat your protein.